And as we turn the page towards the weekend, we bring in the Wizard of Odds, Kenny White, to give us his trend or trash for Week 11. Kenny, let's start with the Colts taking on the Bills. The midseason Hard Knocks started this week, Kenny, so whatever happens in this game, we're going to have some behind-the-scenes entertainment next week. But let's talk about the trend. Is that the Colts have yet to win against teams that are above 500. 7-point dogs this week. Are you with the trend, or are you trashing it and taking the Colts?
Yeah, I'm trashing this trend, Jeremy. The Colts started the year 0-3, and that was Carson Wentz, not 100%. New team, trying to get a feel. They're 5-2 since that time. It's a well-coached football team. I think they're playing very good defense right now. Love the offense with Jonathan Taylor running the football, too. This is a good team, so I'm trashing this one. I'm taking the Colts plus the points and a small money line play here.
All right, after 5 straight wins, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. They've lost their mojo a little bit. Lost 2 of their last 3, including a bad loss to Miami last week. This week, 4.5-point favorites as they head to the Windy City to take on the Bears. Kenny, they're 1-6 as spread favorites this season. That's your trend. Are you riding it, or are you on the Ravens to cover here?
Let's ride it. Let's get on that bus and go against the Ravens this week. The better defense right now is the Bears. They're the better defense in this game. They're at home. They're getting points, really in a big game for them, too. Also, Justin Fields continues to get better. So I'll ride this trend and say the Ravens go 1-7 ATS after the weekend.
And the Ravens happy to have Lamar Jackson back at practice. Of course, he's missed a couple this week, but they've got him back. So that gives them a bit of a boost as they go into that game. But we're going against them this week. All right, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, they're in that Super Bowl conversation at 7-2 as they take on a team that was the Super Bowl favorite when the season started. They're still in that conversation as well. We're talking about the 6-4 Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams scored over 40 points last week in blowout wins. Pat and the Mahomes slight favorites going in. Dak and company, though, Kenny, 4-0 against the spread on the road. That's your trend. With or against?
I'm trashing this one. I'm going with Kansas City. I think they're the better football team. The Chiefs are the better team, and that home field is worth 3.5 points. So for my math, there's no way this could be less than a 3.5-point spread. I love the Chiefs. Cowboys get their first ATS loss on the road.
Okay, Kenny riding with that Chiefs and their defensive turnaround. You look at how they're doing on third down. Opposition third down, weeks 8 to 10 really improved. Now down to 21%. It was almost 50% in weeks 1 through 7. So you'd like to see that defense coming on at the right time. After a 3-point loss to the Jets, Cincinnati Bengals looked lost last week against a banged-up Baker and the Browns. They were handily beaten in that one. They go to Vegas to face the Raiders as 1-point favorites. The over-under is 50.5 for this one. Kenny, overs are 10-2-1 since Allegiant opened. Are you on the trend, or are you trashing the trend in terms of the over-under?
Now, this was a little bit different, Jeremy. That trend 10-2 and over in Allegiant is like flipping a coin. Point spreads are made to go 50-50. Over and unders are made to be 50-50 by the end of time. So 10-2 right now, that's like flipping a coin, and we had 10 heads and 2 tails. The next flip, it's 50-50. So that trend is worthless to me. But I'm going to go over the total anyway because I love it over. I made this total 55. So I'm not betting it over because of the trend. I'm betting it over because my handicap says this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think that Bengals will put up some big points. I like the combination of Burrow to Chase.
I love how you try to discount the trend, but then take the trend as a whole anyways. Love it, Kenny. Okay, there have been a dozen ties in the NFL since the turn of the century. We went back and looked, and after last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, part of the latest one, of course, against the Detroit Lions last week. This week, 5.5-point underdogs to the Chargers away are the Steelers, but as a spread bet, Steelers, not bad, 15-4 against the spread as dogs since the 2018 season. Trend or trash, Kenny?
I'm going to say this is a good trend. That's a good sample size. And I think Mike Tomlin is a coach that plays at the level of the competition. He doesn't try to get his guys too high for games they thinks he's going to win, but he really gets them motivated when they are the underdog, and the Pittsburgh Steelers do come through. So, yes, I'm taking the points with the Steelers. And another reason why, Jeremy, there's going to be more Steeler fans in the stadium than Charger fans, so it's going to be a Pittsburgh home game in L.A. this weekend.
And you look at those, most games decided by one possession since the start of 2019. The Steelers are right in there. And Ben Roethlisberger this season, past 4 games, Big Ben starting to come on. There was some concern about whether or not he might be a little washed in those first 4 games, but now 4-0. in his last 4 games. Things looking up for Ben and the Steelers. And lastly, let's talk about Tom Brady. 9-0 following consecutive losses, 11-point favorites as they welcome the Giants. We're talking Monday Night Football. Gronk expected back. AB may or may not play. It's looking like he may not be there. You're not betting against Brady, are you, Kenny?
No chance. And this sample isn't that big, and it's over such a long period of time, and it's with different coaches. It's with different players. So, I'm not a big believer in the trend, but do I think Tom Brady bounces back after consecutive losses? I sure do, especially on a standalone where the rest of the league is watching him. I think the Tampa Bay Bucks have a big win. Not only winning the game, they cover the point spread, too. They're going to win by more than 11 in this game.
Any added motivation with Super Bowl losses to the Giants?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some added motivation there that Tom Brady lost a couple of Super Bowls to the Giants. So, yeah, let's just throw that into the mix. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown win for Brady and the boys.
Okay, big one there. All right, he is the Wizard of Odds. Kenny White giving us his trend or trash picks for Week 11 of the NFL season. Great stuff, Kenny. Good to see you as always. Let's recap Kenny's picks in terms of Week 11. He says take the Colts, the Bills, 7-point favorites there. He likes the Bears versus the Ravens, likes the Chiefs against the Cowboys. Of course, both of those teams coming off big wins last week, over 40 points, so there could be points in that game. Bengals, Raiders, Kenny gave us the whole reasoning behind the over-under, how it kind of evens out over time, but Kenny's still taking the over in that game, the 50.5. And Steelers and the Chargers, more Steelers fans at that game than Charger fans, says Kenny. So he says take the Steelers in that one.
That's just sad.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.